I just spent a lot of time for some billing stuff that I'm trying to delegate off of me. And so we have Word docs. So tell me why not just Word docs? Like what makes this different or better or
Sure, I can give you a very specific answer to that. So here's my issue with a Word document. Problem number one, I have no way of assigning a Word document to somebody. I have no way of giving a Word document a deadline. I need another piece of software, Trello, whatever, because otherwise, how do you know it's going to get done by the deadline? Word docs on their own, you have no way of ensuring that anyone will follow them and get it done on time. So that's a big problem. The second issue is a Word doc, it is a static document. So let's say that your process is 47 steps long. Well, with a Word doc, how do you make sure that you that each individual? So let's use give me something that you do often repetitively in your business where you have a procedure right now.
like for clients
Sure.
creating content calendars.
Okay. So you've got a Word doc and it talks about how to create a content calendar, and you've got four clients that you're concurrently creating content calendars for. And I'm one of your employees, and then there's another one, another one, another one. If we're going through your Word doc, how do I know what step that I'm on? Because I can't, it's not like I can put ticks in the tick box, because if there's only one Word doc and I'm putting ticks in the tick boxes, well, then I'm screwing it up for these other people because they don't know what step they're on.
Mm-hmm.
So let me show you how Flowster helps solves these very basic problems. First off, finding your stuff in Flowster's is actually really quite easy because we've got it's much like Google Drive. We've got a powerful search box. So you can type in whatever keyword you want. In this case, we'll just use a podcast because it's a really, repetitive thing that we do over and over. And you could be doing this for clients. So you would be doing it over and over and over again. So, okay, publish new podcast episode. Great. We've got this procedure. I'm going to create a new workflow. And let's say that I happen to be Smog the Dragon. So I'm going to, and I'm the manager, and I've got a new employee by the name of Bilbo Baggins. So I'm only tagging myself on this as a way of giving me oversight on whether Bilbo gets the thing done or not. And then we'll say that this is for, podcast episode 123 for ABC client. Okay, that's cool. And we know that we have to have this whole thing due by the 24th. So you can't do anything that I just did, you can't do in a Word doc or a Google Doc. You have to have yet another application. So now what's going to happen is Bilbo will have gotten a notification in his inbox saying this job has been this process or this workflow has been assigned to you. So Bilbo will come along and he will read, okay, overview of the funnel. And I've done this a few times, so I don't need to read that again. So we'll put a tick in that tick box. Add to the editorial calendar. Okay, great. So this is the exact instructions for how to add it to the editorial calendar. Here's a link to the editorial calendar. Yes, I've added the contact to the editorial calendar, so that task is complete. Now I need to, let's just jump ahead, say capture their contact info because that's different. So again, in a Word doc, you can't do this unless you're making copies of your Word doc. How do you store information in? Because if you only have one Word doc, not everybody can store their information in it. Because in this case, the email address is unique to this particular episode. The phone number is unique to this particular guest. The website URL is unique to this particular, again, can't do that in a Word doc. And then if I need to ask my manager or somebody a question, I can @mention. I'm assuming that I'm Bilbo. I'm mentioning Smog. I don't blah, 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 blah. Don't understand, whatever. So click the comment button. They're going to get a notification. So any Q&A that's going back and forth will literally appear as a thread right in this section. That you can kind of do through the comments in a Word doc. And then you simply continue to work your way. And you can't, I don't think you can embed videos in a Word doc. You can embed videos in a workflow. and you just keep on designing and doing and follow the instructions. Now, here's another really common issue that the Word doc scenario will not do for you. So let's say, so you can see that this podcast right here, this workflow is 64 steps long. So I, as the manager, can go into the template, because I know this happens in our podcast, and I'm rapidly running out of time, by the way. I have 5 minutes left till my next call. Step 4, I decide every single time that this workflow is run, step 4 is going to be assigned to Frodo, and then step 17 is going to be assigned to Smog, and step 24 is going to be assigned to Dave, and step 95 is going to be assigned to Suzanne, and you get the idea. You can't do that in a Word doc either. That would mean, in this case, every time I want to run a workflow, because I've assigned all those users to the various steps at the template level, they'll also get those same assignments on every single workflow every time I run it, which ensures process compliance, because it's going to show up in their calendars. It's going to show up in their inbox. Again, you can't do that with a Word doc. So I don't want to keep droning on and on and on and on. Hopefully by now I've convinced you that Word docs are not the greatest place.